And we're not on the front. And I think it's important when you are listening and really going through these arguments that you understand what this case is about. And for that reason, I'd love to say that I'm going to be very brief up here. And the reason I'm not going to is that, unfortunately, I've got an obligation to make sure I address the points that defense counsel made.
Oh no, he's telling us he's going to take the whole day. Oh no! Oh God.
Whether those points are relevant, whether those points are persuasive. I can tell you this, I won't be as long as Mr. TACOPINA was, and I'm confident that you will get the case today, this afternoon. But that's where we are. I want to start with, this is Randy Donuts. This is Randy Donuts. This is on the corner. You're looking at Randy. This is in Inglewood, on the corner of basically Lawrence and Manchester and Los Angeles.
That's where he got the bag from.
This is the exit from Memorial Drive. We're coming, we're looking northbound. And 30 years ago, when I was a young deputy DA in Torrance,
Oh God.
I used to drive from home, and I would have to take this route on the 405. And I would, every day, I would get off on the 405, and I would tell myself that if God wanted me to get a donut, He would make sure the light that you can't see right here was red. And as you can see, God wanted me to have a lot of donuts. I ended up most of the time.
Oh my God.
Stop.
So crazy.
But there came a time where it just wasn't good enough for me to take the chance on the light. So what I would do is, it's a really long straightaway, and you can see when you're getting off the freeway, you can see that light. So what I would do is literally, I would coast my car at 20 or 25 miles an hour, making sure that I hit the red and I could go in. And I bring this up because passing up that donut was extremely difficult. Very, very hard. And most days I wasn't able to do it. And I always thought that that's probably one of the hardest things that I would have to do. And then I became a trial lawyer. Then I started trying cases. Then I started trying serious cases. And I can tell you that what it takes to pass up that donut is nothing compared to what it's like when I have to sit here during a closing argument, and the defense is up, and I have to listen. And I want to get up and I want to scream, I want to yell. I can't do it.
But you objected 20 times.
Things, try to focus on something else.
20 objections.
It's really, really hard. It's especially hard when, as in this case, Mr. TACOPINA makes an argument. And I want to be clear about something. I'm going to attack the arguments that Mr. TACOPINA made. Because that's what lawyers do, that's what's fair. I'm going to attack the arguments that he made. I'm going to attack the case that the defense put on. I'm not going to attack Mr. TACOPINA personally. I'm not going to cast aspersions on evidence that he put on. In the end, witnesses, we don't vouch for our witnesses, ladies and gentlemen. What that means is that we put on witnesses, and those witnesses testify to what they're going to testify to. So, I'm going to go through, and I'm going to very critically point out what this case is about and what it is about. And kind of before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about your role as jurors. So, you 16 people, we started in what year? And I know many of you, probably mostly all of you, none of you wanted to be here. Okay? And I get it. It's understandable. But you were chosen. It wasn't simply magic that you ended up as jurors. Both sides chose you. And honestly, and one of the few things Mr. TACOPINA and I probably agree on is that in our country, it's an incredible honor to be able to be a juror, because in other countries, we don't have jury trials. We don't have any system of justice. But you were selected, and it literally is an honor. But along with that honor comes a duty and a responsibility. And I'm not going to understate it. I'm not going to pretend it's anything other than it's not. I will tell you, Mr. President and I, we have done our duty, our responsibility to bring on this case. We have given you a case and we have proven it beyond a reasonable doubt. It's going to end up going into your hands, and I'm going to explain to you what the evidence demonstrates and what the verdict in the case should be. Some of you might be saying, wait a minute, I don't understand why we had a trial. Because let's face it, no matter how much the defense wants to talk about how this is all about RELLI's credibility, it isn't. It's on video. What's amazing about this case is how little in the end RELLI's credibility for anything that matters in the case is really an issue. Now, it certainly could have been an issue. There could have been a defense in this case. There could have been. Where the defense put on evidence, they said, hey, listen, RELLI, you can't see it, but RELLI, when he came, had a weapon. And he said, I'm going to kill you. And the defendant at that point in time pulled a gun to defend himself. And the situation ended, and RELLI followed. And he threatened again, and he pulled out another gun. And that would have been difficult for us to counter, not because it's true, but because the evidence that you would have been given would have been much more problematic, much more difficult. That's not the defense they chose. The defense they chose, and I'm going to get into this in a little more time, more detail, but I want to make sure you all understand it right off the bat. This case comes down to one issue and one issue only. They are saying it's a prop gun. If it's a prop gun, he is absolutely not guilty of the charge. Not because he didn't pull it, not because he didn't fire it, but because under the law, if it's not a real firearm, it's not a violation of Penal Code Section 245, and it's not personal use of a firearm. Now, here's what's interesting. Again, I'm going to explain this in more detail. Mr. TACOPINA got up here. He says, absolutely. Hey, listen. He did not have a real gun. It's a prop gun. But it's still self-defense. That's not true. If it is a prop gun, there is no self-defense. And the only way you can get to self-defense in this case is you have to find, one, that it was a real gun, which it clearly was a real gun. There's no question there. It was a real gun. The prop gun is a figment of the defense and the witnesses who testified to it. You have to find that not only is it a real gun and that it was fired, but that the defendant was defending other individuals or himself, and that the force that he used was necessary. And ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't defending anybody else. The force was not necessary. It's a sad situation, and I'm going to confront this head on. It would be easy for you all as jurors to say, wait a minute, I don't get it. This is a guy who's got everything. He has everything. He's successful. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got 2 children who were here. And some of you might be saying, gosh, you know what? Why would you risk that? And that's a very good question. It's just not a question that is for you to consider. Because in the end, the issue is not why did you risk it, why did you do what you did. Because what the evidence shows is that's what you did. This is also not, let me repeat, not about and say, hey, listen, Mr. Lewin, we've been listening to this case. Why are you up here arguing? We get it. If I were in charge of the court system, which I'm not, I would make an adjustment. And what would happen is there would be a scoreboard right on top of between where juror number 4 and juror number 5 is. And I could look up and I could see, okay, we're up 42-0. I can take a knee, I can run the clock out, but I'm not scoreboard. I have no idea what U12 jurors are thinking. I have no idea. I have no idea if some of the crazy arguments by the defense, gosh, maybe somebody believes them. One of the most difficult, frustrating things that can happen is, and I try not to do this, but I will see jurors taking notes, writing things down at certain points where I'm thinking, oh my gosh, why are they writing that? That doesn't make any sense. Of course, I don't know what you're writing. I have no idea. You could be writing down a point, you could be writing down, that doesn't make any sense at all. I have no idea. But here's what I do know. I've got an obligation to make sure that I address everything that the defense has brought up. Good points, bad points, irrelevant points, nonsensical points. I have to address it all because I don't know where each one of you are at. And the reason's pretty simple. There is no way that I can ask you 12 jurors to do your job if I haven't done mine. So that's kind of the background of where we find ourselves. Let's talk for a second about the defense closing argument. I think it's important. So, what they have done, and listen, I get it. RELLI, in a lot of ways, was a very problematic victim. Why is it problematic? Well, one, in a lot of ways, he's not very sympathetic. And I'm not here to get you to like RELLI, to get you to say, you know what, RELLI deserves $30 million. Because unlike what Mr. TACOPINA said, you're not here to decide that. You are not here. I'm not RELLI's lawyer, and you're not the jury who's going to decide what damages he's going to get. Evidence has shown he has a civil suit. You're aware of that. I'm not telling you anything that's not a part of the evidence. And if that civil suit goes to trial, as you all know, there will be a jury that will decide what anyone gets. That is not due trial. I don't mean to shortchange you alternates. Being alternates are really, I'm not going to lie, it's a crummy job. You get to sit through everything, and then you don't get to vote. I think I said this on Blog. I would have held my hand up and said I cannot be an alternate. I can't do it. I need to be able to vote. So when I say U12, I really mean U16. You never know who's going to end up on our jury. But what is important to keep in mind is that you're not here representing RELLI. But you know what I do want to explain? I want to explain for a second what happened with RELLI and who he is and what he's been through. And I think it's really important, and this kind of goes to what the defense is in this case. This is a picture that if you look at, very blurry, okay? You can't see what's going on. Why is that? Because what the defense wants to do is they want to zoom up so close on every irrelevant fact that you forget.
Oh my God! The defense closing argument fails to see the forest through the trees.
That's why we're even here. And what's an example now? I'll tell you right now. Mr. TACOPINA spent time pointing out the fact that RELLI was not honest about buying a property in Miami. Now you need to ask yourselves, what does his property in Miami have to do with what happened on November 6th? Nothing. But he would say, well, but wait a minute. If RELLI is not being truthful about that, you don't have to leave about anything. I'm going to get to why that is not what the instructions actually direct you to do. But I want to do something more. I want to do something better. I want to explain to you from the evidence why RELLI was up there doing what he did. So let's first talk about the fact that Mr. TACOPINA spent a lot of time talking about, hey, the defendant, he just sat there, he was dignified, he didn't make any fuss, etc. That's all true. That doesn't mean anything. The defendant is an extremely powerful individual. His wife is even more powerful.
Leave Riri alone.
He found himself
Don't worry
in a
about
situation
nobody's powerful but God.
where he was
So
on
come
the
on with
wrong
that
side of
argument.
power divide.
Get off of that
And by
argument.
the way, it doesn't matter why.
God is the only powerful one I know.
There was a disagreement about ASAP Josh and about what happened to him and what was going to be paid for and what wasn't. And what
Trying to sway the jury.
RELLI and the defendant had a disagreement about it. That's what happened.